So, we hear it all the time, right? Generative AI is going to change everything. But here's the thing. All of that promise, all of that potential, it hinges on one single ingredient, our trust. If we don't trust these systems, we're not going to use them in any meaningful way, and all that potential just evaporates. So today, we're going to break down how trust isn't just a feeling. It's actually a technical problem that can be engineered, built right into the system from the ground up.
All right, let's make this real. Imagine you're using a brand new AI travel agent. It's promising you the perfect, tailor-made vacation of your dreams. But then it starts asking questions. It wants your travel history, your budget, maybe even access to your calendar. And you pause. You hold back that one key piece of information, your favorite spot, the very thing it needs to actually help you. We've all felt that hesitation. Why? Because you don't really trust it yet, do you?
You know that moment of hesitation? That's everything. It tells us that for AI to ever be truly useful, trust can't be some afterthought. It's not a fuzzy, nice-to-have feeling. It is a fundamental technical requirement. It has to be designed and engineered into the system from the very first line of code. It's a solvable problem, and it's the absolute key to unlocking what these incredible tools can actually do for us.
Okay, so if you're going to engineer trust, how do you actually do it? Well, it really boils down to three core pillars. First, reliability. I mean, this one's simple, right? Does the thing actually work consistently? Second, transparency. This one is huge. Can we understand why it's making the decisions that it's making? And third, value correspondence. This might be the biggest one of all. Does this AI operate in a way that actually aligns with my values, with my ethics?
So let's dig into that second pillar because it is arguably the foundation for everything else. I'm talking about transparency. To really trust an AI, we need to be able to peek inside the box and get a sense of how it actually thinks. For years, this has been the fundamental problem with so many AI systems. You've probably heard the term black boxes. You know, data goes in, a decision comes out, but the process in the middle is a complete and total mystery. It's a leap of faith, and how can you possibly trust a recommendation when you have absolutely no idea how it was made in the first place?
Well, the solution is this fascinating and growing field called Explainable AI, or XAI for short. The best way to think about XAI is as a set of specialized tools that let developers crack open that black box. Their whole purpose is to translate the machine's incredibly complex logic into something that you and I can actually understand.
And check this out. We can actually see the AI's thought process right here. This is called an attention visualization. So you give it a prompt like, what are the best family-friendly travel destinations in Europe? The brighter the highlight, the more the model focused on that word. You can see it's honed right in on what, best, and destinations. It's literally a heat map of the AI's attention.
But we can take this a step further. This here is a saliency map. Now, this doesn't just show us where the AI is looking, it actually ranks how important each of those words was to the final answer it gave. So now we can see that words like travel, destinations, and Europe weren't just noticed, they were the most influential. And just like that, the AI's reasoning isn't such a mystery anymore.
Okay, so Explainable AI lets us see how the machine is thinking. That's a huge step. But what if its way of thinking is fundamentally flawed? This brings us to the second massive challenge in building trust. We have to tackle bias.
Look, an AI only learns from the data we feed it. It's really that simple. And if that data reflects the biases that already exist in our world, and let's be honest, it does, then the AI is going to inherit and amplify those biases. So let's go back to our AI travel agent. Imagine it was only trained on data scraped from luxury travel blogs. Its entire understanding of travel would be completely skewed toward one very narrow, very expensive point of view.
And this is the direct result of that. A biased AI, on the left, might only ever suggest five-star hotels and the most obvious crowded tourist traps because that's the only world it knows. But a fair, properly trained AI on the right, it gives you real options. It suggests backpacking trips, eco-tours, cool hostels, things that reflect a much broader, more realistic understanding of what travel can actually be.
Now, the really important thing here is that developers are not helpless. They have a whole toolbox to fight this stuff. They can use what are called debiasing algorithms to automatically find and correct these skews in the data. And they use a really clever technique called adversarial training, where they basically try to trick the AI with biased examples, which forces it to learn how to recognize and resist them.
Okay, so we've got an AI that's transparent and it's on its way to becoming fairer. But to get those truly amazing, personalized results, it needs our data. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most personal pillar of trust, privacy.
And this is the central puzzle, isn't it? For that AI travel agent to be brilliant, it needs to know our preferences. But how can it use our data to learn and get better without actually learning our private secrets? How does it see the patterns without seeing the individual people?
One of the most powerful solutions to this is a concept called differential privacy. The best way to think about it is like this. Imagine your personal data is a single voice in a huge crowd. Differential privacy adds just enough mathematical noise, you can think of it like random chatter, so that your individual voice becomes impossible to pick out from the noise. Your specific details are hidden, but the overall roar of the crowd, the general patterns, are still perfectly clear for the AI to learn from.
And differential privacy is just one tool in the kit. Developers also use some incredibly advanced techniques, like processing data while it's still fully encrypted, or methods where multiple computer systems can analyze a dataset together without ever revealing their individual pieces of it to each other. The technical details are, believe me, very complex, but the goal is always the same: learn from the group, protect the individual.
So, let's bring all of this together. When developers make the conscious choice to engineer transparency, fairness, and privacy into a system from the start, something really remarkable happens. It doesn't just earn our trust, it actually kicks off this powerful, virtuous cycle.
It's called the Trust Flywheel, and it works exactly like this. It all starts when you feel safe enough to trust the system. Because you trust it, you start to share better, more accurate data and feedback. With that better data, the AI's performance improves dramatically. And when you get those better results, what happens? Your trust is reinforced, which makes you want to engage even more. Each step just feeds the next, and the whole wheel begins to spin faster and faster, creating a system that's constantly getting smarter and more helpful.
And that right there brings us to the single most important takeaway from all of this. The quality of an AI has a lot less to do with fancy algorithms than you might think. Ultimately, the quality of an AI's output is directly proportional to the level of trust we have in it. Because without our trust, that flywheel never even starts to turn.
So we've seen that trust isn't magic, it's engineering. It's the result of very deliberate choices about transparency and fairness and privacy. Which really leaves us with one final question. And this one's for you. As you start using these AI tools more and more in your own life, what is the one feature, the one absolute guarantee you would demand from an AI before you're willing to trust it with what really matters to you?